What if Willow joined Stargate Command? This is AEJ Spotlight, Episode 1, featuring Willow. Willow lay on her back on the dark blue tarp, which prevented direct contact with the dirt and grass beneath her, and stared up at the canvas roof of the tent. Her entire body radiated pain. Every single muscle group screamed in protest, the soreness sinking deep into her bones. The first day at Jack's Valley was behind her, but the nearly 6-mile march to get there, while carrying all the required equipment, followed by the endless drills after pairing up and setting up the tents, and then the numerous obstacle courses, weighed heavily on her already aching body. She hadn't felt this wiped out since, well, ever. Hell, she had received a D- in Phys Ed back at Sunnydale High. Even fighting demons with Buffy, Xander, Giles, and even Anya hadn't left her feeling this utterly drained. Cold mountain air seeped through the flaps of the tent, making her shiver slightly beneath her thin blanket. It wasn't enough to ease the throbbing ache in her legs or the pain in the soles of her feet. As she lay on the tarp in the tent she shared with her eventual roommate, Colleen, Willow could hear the rustling of the other cadets around her as they settled into their own tents and sleeping bags. Everyone was too tired to talk much after the long day. Willow shifted slightly before rolling onto her side in the cramped space, wincing as her sore shoulders protested the movement. It wasn't as though she hadn't prepared for this. Colonel O'Neill and Major Carter had trained her even before she was accepted into the academy. The two officers had begun putting Willow through the ringer soon after she arrived at the SGC through the fateful wish. But nothing, absolutely nothing, had prepared Willow for Jack's Valley. The rugged terrain, the constant physical demands, and the yelling from the training instructors were all designed to push the cadets to their limits. Despite everything, Willow was finding her limits alarmingly fast. She took a deep breath, trying to settle her mind. After the wish debacle that had brought her to the SGC, she had sworn off magic. But the temptation to reach for it, to use the literal power within her, was strong, stronger than it had been in months. She could use just a small spell, a simple spell, something to ease the pain, to help her muscles heal faster. It would be so easy. She could whisper a few words, and her body would be as good as new. But no, she had made her choice. No more using magic. Willow clenched her hands into fists underneath the blanket and reminded herself why she was there in the first place. In her anger following her breakup with Oz, Willow had cast a wishing spell, and without thinking, she had made several wishes. Giles going blind, Buffy falling in love with Spike, and Xander becoming a literal demon magnet. Her anger had gotten the better of her, and because of it, she had hurt the people she cared about. She had nearly destroyed everything, and she could not allow herself to fall down that path again. She wanted to prove to herself that there was more to life than being a witch. Everything around her was quiet. Even her roommate, or tent mate for now, breathed softly in her sleep. Willow closed her eyes, willing her body to relax. But the aches coursing through her body were relentless. Sleep was definitely not coming easily. Even with her eyes closed, her mind drifted to the last conversation she had shared with Colonel O'Neill before officially enrolling at the academy. It had taken place at his cabin with the rest of SG-1. The two of them had stood at the end of the dock overlooking the large pond while Daniel handled the barbecue with Major Carter and Teal'c near the cabin's front porch. The air that day had been crisp and filled with the scent of steak, horn, hot dogs, and coleslaw. There had been no clouds in the sky and very little artificial light around them, making the stars clearer than Willow had ever seen them in Sunnydale. It was there that O'Neill had told her, "No shortcuts, kid. No magic. That was your choice." Willow had nodded as he continued. "If you want to do this, you go all in, or you don't go at all." At the time, she had nodded again. "I can and I will." She had felt determined, completely certain she could handle it. Now, lying in a tent, after just one day at Jack's Valley, she wasn't so sure. But she couldn't back down now. Willow wasn't just there, at Jack's Valley, at the academy. to prove something to herself. She was there to prove something to everyone. She was determined to prove to O'Neill and Carter that she could handle whatever came next. She was equally determined to prove to Buffy, Xander, Dawn, Giles, and the rest that she wasn't going to give up and run back to Sunnydale, as they, particularly Buffy and Dawn, had hinted she might do during numerous phone conversations. The cold air crept in once again, and Willow pulled the blanket tighter around herself while trying to ignore the sharp sting in her aching muscles. Tomorrow would be another brutal day, probably worse than today, but she had to push through. She had to make it through Jack's Valley, through the academy, through this admittedly surprising chapter of her life. Willow continued willing herself to relax despite the pain. Tomorrow was just another day. Another chance to prove she could do this. No magic, no shortcuts. Just herself, just Willow. And for tonight, for tomorrow, for the rest of her time at Jack's Valley and beyond, that would have to be enough.